anniversary special of Spotlight. I am Dina Ventura,
I am Jojo Silvestre.
and
Hi.
this afternoon we have a
Yeah.
very special guest.
Yes. She is the founding farmer, CEO, and president of AGREA. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Agricultural Systems International, which is promoting inclusive business. It's trying to create the first replicable one island economy that is zero hunger, zero waste, and zero insufficiency. Therefore, it's very efficient. Ha? At ang ating guest today ay hindi basta-basta. She is internationally renowned. She is a recipient of the Outstanding Women Nation Service Award in 2016. And she is the first awardee of Women of the Future Social Entrepreneur in Southeast Asia and of the 10 Outstanding Men and Women of the Philippines 2018. Actually, she has very long, qualifications and credentials
Oh,
niya, hindi basta-basta. But would you believe that at age 12, she was already teaching farmers? Imagine at age 12. So you can say that she has 22 years of vast experience in sustainable food systems. She is a magna cum laude of the Visayas State University. Their roots are Zamboanga, but she grew up in Silay.
okay.
And so she went to that university where she finished BS in agriculture, major in horticulture. I hope I'm pronouncing them right. May we present to you Miss Cherrie Atilano. Hi, Cherrie.
Cherry,
Hi,
hello.
Dina and Jojo. Thank you
Yeah,
so much for
yeah,
inviting me here. And happy anniversary to everyone. And
yeah.
magandang araw, maayong aga, maayong buntag sa tanan.
Hi to you.
Thank you for making
Yeah.
time. We know how busy you are. I think you mentioned before we started the show that you go around to your various farms. So how have you been during the
Oh,
pandemic, since the pandemic started? How did
oh,
that affect your work?
Oh, wow. What a beautiful question, Dina. Actually, how am I? And then, even with the pandemic, we're unstoppable, I guess. The spirit is always alive. I thought when the pandemic was announced, to have a lockdown, I will just chill and do a, Netflix binge with Crash Landing on You, read books because I always like buy books in all my travels. Every airport I have a stopover, I buy books.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought I was just like catching up, reading books, but it did not happen. So many farmers were asking for help on where to sell their produce because when the lockdown happened, it was the height of harvest season in the Philippines.
That's
So
right.
we went out and about helping farmers all over the country to bring their produce in Metro Manila.
Mm-hmm.
And, because of that, one call from a pineapple farmer, it actually created a movement. So we launched the Move Food Initiative during the pandemic, and we helped almost 30,000 farmers from all over the Philippines,
wow.
saving almost 200 metric tons of their produce from rotting on their fields.
Wow.
So it was a busy
Oh,
year,
oh.
yet so fulfilling. And I'm so happy in God's grace. I'm alive. My entire team, they're all alive and kicking. And more so, we were so true to our mission that no matter what happened, we will be there for our Filipino farmers
Mm-hmm.
and we will continue helping them.
Ang
Right.
galing,
Ang
ano?
galing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Cherry, that's amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
because everybody during the when the pandemic started, everyone was just so scared to go out, but then you never stopped. You just went out there
Oh, huh?
and focused on that mission of yours. So wow.
That's courage.
Yeah.
No wonder that she is, I'd like to read to you her other awards, no?
Okay.
She is a high-level ambassador of the United Nations Scaling Up Nutrition. She is an advisory board member of the World Bank Solutions for Youth Employment, and she belongs to the 2020 class of the Young Global Leaders, the World Economic Forum's Foundation, the World Economic Forum Foundation Again, I hope I'm saying these things right, correctly. Anyway, dear, no, Cherry, can you share with us your journey? Kailan ka ba naging ganito, very knowledgeable and kailan ka nagkaroon ng desire to be of help to others and then to promote agriculture at
Bakit
age 12?
agriculture, diba?
Oo.
Why agriculture? I mean, at age 12,
Yeah.
little girls would be
Oo.
probably thinking about what? Dolls? I don't know.
Or she could have been a senorita from Negros,
Yes,
ha?
I know.
Silay
Princess.
pa,
Oo.
oo.
I think Dina and George, I always believe in the power of calling and finding your purpose at a very young age. I'm a fortunate person, I must say, that at a very young age of 12, I already know what I want to do, and I never experienced midlife crisis. I grew up in a sugarcane farm in Negros Occidental, and then growing up, I always have a lot of observation around that. My siblings are in school, why a lot of people are not in school. The kids are working in the sugarcane fields at a very
Oo.
young age, and then my father died when I was 3 years old. So
Oh.
from a very comfortable life, we went
Oo.
back like really ground zero, and then my mom was left with nothing, and we really needed to strive hard to meet ends.
Oo.
And it so happened that my mother put me in a scholarship center
Mhm.
every weekend. The scholarship center is called CIMAG, Silay Magalona, or ASI, Asociación de Hacienderos de Silay Saravia Incorporated.
Mhm.
So in that scholarship center, I learned how to cook. I learned how to make crochet,
Oo.
magganchilyo, cooking,
Yeah.
baking, everything to survive. It's really a very home economics based kind of learning. And however, though, I was training myself that I really want to be of service to others. My mom is such an amazing human being.
Mhm.
I grew up
Oo.
that every Sunday my mom would ask us what to eat, but
Mhm.
then we cannot start eating unless we will give food to our neighbors. So palaging sinasabi ng mom ko, you always need to connect the shortest distance in life.
Mhm.
uh, this is the distance between your brain and your heart. If you don't know how to connect the
Oo.
distance, forget about life.
Ang ganda.
So when I
Oo,
was in
ha?
the scholarship center, I read a book. The book says it's by intensive gardening.
Oh.
And in the first page, it was like, if you're poor, 100% of your income goes to food, 70% rice, 30% vegetables or ulam. But if you know how to plant vegetables around your house, you basically save the 30% and you can send your children to school and have a roof on your head. It struck me the most. It's because why a lot of people in the sugarcane farms, the sakada or the mga
Yeah.
trabajador, they don't really plant vegetables. They're very dependent on sari-sari stores, mga konsumo ang tawag namin
Yeah.
doon in Negros. So I asked my mom to give me a bike for my 12th birthday kasi yung mom ko, very wise and very strict. We only have two gifts in a year. One is during your birthday, one is during Christmas. You can get three if you are an honor student kasi you have a shoot. Di ba, Jojo, it's very common na pag walang bagong damit kasi wala namang rason. Pag
Yeah,
makaano
yeah.
ka ng stage, bibilhan ka
Yeah.
ng bagong damit,
That's
bibilhan ka
right.
ng bagong sapatos. So my mom was such a tough love. And I said, this is my birthday. I rather be wiser on what gift to ask. So I asked for a bike. Then my mom said, bakit bike? I said, I want to teach farmers in sari-sari stores every weekend to learn how to grow vegetables. And then sabi ng mom ko, ha? Bakit mo sila ipapag-grow ng vegetables? Paano ka natuto? Sabi ko in the scholarship center. And then I read this book and I really want to teach them. Instead of naglalasing sila sa sari-sari stores, nangungutang, pinokulafo, cuatro cantos, name all of those kinds of drinks, right? Tapos, wala na silang panguwi sa bahay kasi naubos nila sa inumin yung pera nila na konti lang that they earn from the sugarcane farming. So that's how it started. And, I really love teaching farmers that until now, it's been 23 years, I'm still in this profession of, educating farmers all over the Philippines. And, to make the story short, it really guided me to what kind of purpose I want to live my life into and how I can progress in life actually.
Oh,
So, 12 years old.
yeah.
And then you started biking to the farmers. Wala kang takot.
Oo,
Ang
ibang
galing.
klase, ano?
Yeah, that was courage even at a very young
Yeah,
age. And wow. Okay, let's get to know more
yeah, yeah.
about
Agreea.
Agrea. Are
Yeah,
we pronouncing it right?
Yes, on
Agreea.
Agrea.
Agreya. Yeah, Agreya.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what does that stand for? When did you establish this company, and what are your goals, and what are you doing to achieve those goals?
So, just to give you a bit of background, I think Jojo was mentioning a while ago that I studied agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
So I major in horticulture and specialize in tissue
Yes.
culture.
Mm-hmm.
Being a tissue culturist is really a very scientific kind of approach,
Oo,
right? I've
ano yun?
been a scientist and I tissue culture ube in the Philippines. I did like growing ube in test tubes and things like that. And
Oh,
uh, and really solving the problem of farmers of dormancy of ube. Kasi kung itanim mo yan ng ube ngayon,
Mm-hmm.
kahit anong gawin mo, hindi yan tutubo in the next 5 months because of innate dormancy of a plant. So we broke that. My thesis in university years was internationally published. It was like one of the youngest, I think, thesis from a bachelor that was published internationally. So I have so many options in life to do, but then I worked in different experiences. I went to corporations. I worked with Ayala Land Company in landscaping. So if you enjoy Greenbelt, Bonifacio High Street from Market to Serendra, to Bonifacio Global City, I used to help in really designing the landscape of that place.
I
So
see.
I really earned well in that aspect.
oo.
But what started me with Agrea is when I was working with Gawad Kalinga before, I used to work with their national food security program and help in the establishment of the Gawad Kalinga Enchanted Farm way back. On the side, I became a consultant of Secretary Alcala and Secretary
Oo.
uh, De Los Reyes of Agrarian Reform. When I was their consultant, I had the opportunity to travel all over the Philippines, and it gave me a privilege to visit our 81 provinces all over the country and seeing the Philippines, in a context of agricultural, because my assignments are always, in a rural context, meeting farmers, meeting governors or whoever local governments would invite the secretary, and I would go with him, or sometimes I would go alone to audit projects, things like that. Philippines is not a small country. It's basically a big country. But then the problem in the Philippines is an archipelago. It's so beautiful because it's an archipelago. But if we're talking about food and food supply chain, it's such a massive problem because your food producers are in this countryside and your consumers are in mega cities most of the time. So shipping goods is a challenge, right?
Right.
Another one is why Manila is so congested and all our metropolitans. It's
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of opportunities are being developed in the mega cities
Mm-hmm.
and our countryside are empty. There's no development in our countryside. There's no opportunity for people to stay. But there's so much wealth in terms of natural resources and agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
So when in 2014, there was some miracle that happened in my life. I was invited to meet the Pope in Vatican.
Wow.
And yeah, so I went to Vatican, all expense paid by them in Rome. So I stayed there in the Vatican for almost a week. And I had this encounter just staying there and listening to the Pope, attending mass, things like that, in having lunch there in the Vatican Academy. And I was asking one questions in my life, right? I'm so passionate in agriculture and I want this to really be my future. And the Pope is just advising us go and capitalize on your passion, because if you're passionate in what you do, you will definitely be successful. But don't forget to always help people, uplift lives, empower spirits. So I went back to the Philippines after that trip in Rome, and I started AGREA. And it's a
Ayun.
funny start. I started it with my adopted parents, Yong Nieva, who's from Marinduque Island,
Oh.
and my mommy Ivy Almario. She's a
Oh.
very famous interior designer in the Philippines. I live with
Yeah.
her. She designs my room.
Oh.
That's why your room
Um,
is so nice.
Ang
so
ganda.
Oh, thank you. So
Oo.
they're my adopted parents, and they're very, very supportive. I don't know if I do what I do right now, if not because of them. I shared with them, this is what the Pope told me. I need to capitalize on my passion, and I let go so many things in life, and they know that I was supposed to be a Fulbright scholar in Ivy League schools in the
Yeah.
US, and I let go of that because I really want to help farmers and make them as my teachers, right? Because if I go for my Fulbright, of course it's another feather on my hat. But how about learning life from people who don't even know how to read and write, right?
Oo.
So, anyways, so after that, I was sharing to them, and then they said, "Let's go to Marinduque because if you want to start like a one island economy vision, Marinduque is such a perfect island to start. It's small, it has only 250,000 people, six mayors to deal with, one governor, one congressman, and it's 86% agricultural." So
Oo,
we went
tama.
there in November 2014. The day I arrived in Rome at in the morning,
Tapos
at
diretso.
night at 10 p.m. we left Manila and we traveled 8 hours away to Marinduque. And I immersed myself in the island. And the time, I go to farming communities. They would invite me to eat every morning with them. And nakakatawa lang, it's because sometimes, these people who we feel they don't have enough, but they actually have so much generosity and nakakahiya.
Yeah.
It's so humbling. Like every morning I would hike, I don't even know them. Nakikita nila ako, "Nak, anak, kumain ka na ba? O, halika muna, mag-breakfast ka dito sa amin." Alam mo yon. Tapos minsan I would sleep in the farming community and they would open the new kulambo, new kumot, new
Yeah.
Wow.
unan for you.
Oh,
They
how
would give the best
hospitable.
bed for you, and you're such a stranger. And for me, I was like, wow, this is the real Filipino-ness,
Yes.
and this is the real Filipino spirit, and this is the real life that I want to evolve around. The generosity, the gratefulness, and having that love for just be given. So that's how I started Agrea, and I think you have a lot of
Doon
questions, but
pala. Yeah.
sharing.
Yeah.
Oh,
You agree it has a very lofty goal that one
oh.
island, what do you call that? One island economy with zero hunger, zero waste, and zero
Sufficiency.
insufficiencies. Um,
Yes,
can you kindly explain to all of us what that means?
Oo.
But before you do that, we'll just pause for a
yeah,
short break.
Break
yeah.
muna.
Iba ng panahon, ang dami ng bago ngayon. Pati ang mundo natin, well, nagbago na rin. Buti ang bayan, bigger, better na. You can buy it sa centers, pati sa mga partners, may online pa at app. You can buy it with your fingers, still don't remittance and more. Online shopping, you can buy it all. Di magpadala, you can buy it all. Ano mang pera transaction, you can buy it all. Sabayan ang pagbabago ng mundo for all your pera transactions, all new Bayan.
Montero Sport. Elevate your journey.
Drive your ambition. Mitsubishi Motors.
back on Spotlight with the brilliant Cherrie Atilano.
Yeah, yeah.
And we were asking her before we took a break about AGREA, which
Oo,
is
yung
established.
one island
Oh,
economy and all that and zero
zero waste, zero
oo, insufficiency. Ano ba 'yun?
insufficiency. Can you tell
Oo.
us more about that? It sounds very,
Zero hunger.
yeah, oh, yeah.
Oo.
That's what we all want for this country.
Yeah. Tell us about all of those, Cherry.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. The one island economy, it's such like ambitious goal, for a company to basically start. What is this one island economy, right?
Mhm.
My minor is actually agricultural economics, so I always
Mm.
love this learning new graphs and data and import, export. I can explain all those to you.
Mhm.
I said the one island economy is how can we make every island in the Philippines food sufficient? How can we develop livelihood and businesses and sustainability in every island in the Philippines, right? If we have 7,000 plus islands, how can we make every island substantial, sustainable,
Mhm.
and economically viable by just utilizing the natural resources we have
Mhm.
in the most eco-friendly way. So when we were in Marinduque Island, we coined the one island economy, but it's very human centric and people centric and farmer centric. So it's the kind of economic empowerment where no one is left behind. So we
Oo.
decided that when this is the island of Marinduque, in the next in 2035, one generation, how can we make it um, economically viable, that everyone in the island would love to stay in the island because they see there's potential
Yes.
and there's opportunities to live in the island. So the zero hunger, it's really about not just the hunger of stomach, because it's really about the hunger of someone to belong. I think I've
Mm.
been always asking the fact from a very scientific based kind of training. I always have these questions that I think agriculture is not progressing in the first place because it's always measured on material stuff,
Mhm.
like how much yield we have, how much land we cultivated. It really never measured on how much and how many farmers have we uplifted from poverty. So I always believe in the power of cultivation of human beings, not just cultivation of land and cultivation of crops. So it's so metaphoric, but I think we need to deal it in a very deeper way because everything is just done in a very materialistic way. But for us, zero hunger goes beyond, physical. It needs to be felt spiritual. It needs to be felt in a belongingness way because it's a crime against humanity that the producers of the food in the food chain, the farmers and the fisher folks, are the hungriest and the poorest.
Oo nga, ano?
Yeah.
Hindi dapat ganon.
Yeah,
Dapat sila
yeah.
yung unang nakakakain ng pagkain nila. Sila yung unang nabubusog, sila yung unang masustansya,
Mhm.
at sila yung unang may pera. Kasi they are in the base of the pyramid in terms of
They're
food
producing.
Oo.
chain, right?
Oo.
Second one, we said, but in all of this, there's always a fight between making money and protecting our environment. So we said zero waste. So in our company, we practice regenerative agriculture. Is such a new term
Mhm.
in the agriculture world, but regenerative
Regenerative.
agriculture is you allow Mother Earth to heal. Agreia actually is a combination of two words,
Mhm.
agriculture and Gaia, the Greek name of Mother Earth, Gaia.
Oh.
Why it's Agreia? How can be agriculture and Gaia? How can be agriculture and environment become best friend?
Mhm.
That the more you produce food, the more you're also protecting the environment. It's because the environment and food connection is such a connection to the natural resources. I always say this, Dina and Giorgio know that food is basically our umbilical cord to Mother Earth. If we neglect that fact that food is our umbilical cord to Mother Earth, it's so easy for us to destroy nature. It's so easy for us to just get and take away from Mother Earth without letting her regenerate herself.
Mhm.
And in the context of smallholder farmers, because right now we work with 30,000 smallholder farmers around the Philippines, environment is their social security system, especially in the Philippines that we have Santa Cruzan of typhoons. You know, we have 20 to
Oo.
21 typhoons in a year. Santa Cruzan yung tawag ko doon.
Oo.
Daan ng
Hindi
daan.
pa makabangon yung
Oo,
farmer from
tuloy-tuloy,
one
ano?
typhoon. May typhoon na namang darating.
Mm.
So it's shock after shock, it's stress after stress, and we need to build resilience after resilience. And lastly, the zero insufficiency, that's our business model. How do we study the import and export of every island we enter? Now we are in Marinduque Island and Siargao Islands, and there are 6 more islands in the pipeline signing up in our model. So we said, if we do an economics, how is it that we can lessen the importation of food in the island by studying that if they can grow this, imports, um, it can create a local economy by cutting what's entering the island and utilizing them to really grow it. And lastly is empowering the farmers to see value addition on what they have. Case in point in Marinduque. Marinduque has 3 million coconut trees, but the coconut farmers are earning $60 or 3,000 pesos every 40 days. Pag may kopra lang, no? And how can you live with 3,000 pesos every 40 days if you have children, if you have a
Yeah.
family? Wala talaga. Kaya they're so poor. And the economic poverty threshold of the Philippines to survive is 11,480 pesos a month. So our goal is, how can we bring our farmers earning to 12,000 a month and having the social security system, PhilHealth and everything, by really making their land productive, at the same time protecting their environment, and really equip them with the right educational skills and have a sense of community. So that's our model. Bottom line, it's all about ecology of dignity. How do we dignify the people in the food supply chain? More importantly, our food producers.
Yeah. You know, so many things come to my mind just listening to her. First, naalala ko yung, uraro. That arrowroot yun sa
Yeah, arrowroot
Marinduque.
cookie.
Pakisabi naman kay Ivy, pahinging arrowroot. And
Yes,
then
please.
secondly,
Oh.
naisip ko, ang adoptive parents niya. Pakisabi nga kay Ivy, i-adopt din ako.
She's
then-
a wonderful mom.
Yeah.
Extremely wonderful.
Yeah. And we should have the couple as guests also, ha?
Oo, one time.
Oh, yeah, oo. Kasi they also dance, ha? Young and, yeah. Now,
No, we wanted to invite them.
yeah, a long time ago pa, di ba? But I've interviewed her before na.
Okay.
Anyway, I wonder lang, but because she's very, very articulate, no? Si Cherrie. But before that, isa pa pala, gusto kong tumakbo ng president
Si Cherrie.
ako sa 2022. So I can get her as my cabinet for agriculture, ha?
I know.
Dapat whoever becomes the next president should appoint Cherrie as a cabinet secretary.
For agriculture.
Or we should ask her to run for senator.
Maybe she should just work in the cabinet.
Parang,
Diretso yung
parang
Oo.
wala
farmer
sa
eh.
blood ko yung politics, Jo.
But
Pero yeah, now
Oo,
that
ha?
makes me think, yung parang what kind of support are you getting from government? Because
Yeah.
your ideas are very, very
Yeah.
good. But what kind
yeah,
of response are you getting from government and
that's also my
the
question.
farmers?
Because first of all, how do you communicate yung maganda mong sinasabi, yung mission mo sa gobyerno? And secondly, how do you tell all these farmers
Yeah.
na you should do it this way and we can be together, and paano ang iyong strategy to bring across yung message mo?
I think, Joe, because politics is not really in my DNA. We're very apolitical in AGREA.
Oo.
Wala kaming pinapanigan because at the end
Okay.
of the day, it's really the farmers at the bottom line.
Oo.
No matter who is the leadership up there or who is the local leadership, we strongly believe that we are a private sector that remains to be apolitical.
Oo.
And even I don't vote in Marinduque or any island we develop. Because the moment you vote, sometimes it gives attention that, baka sabihin nila, si Cherrie, dito
May
yan
balak.
naglalagay ng vote niya kasi baka tatakbo yan sa politics. the mere fact that for me, kasi this is a life mission and I'll never put my head in there na pang politika to. Wala talagang
Oo.
coming on. So that's how we survive. We work
Oo.
whoever in the leadership,
Mhm.
but at the same time, we're so blessed naman. It's because our work has been a model.
Mhm.
And so all the more the government, they're working with us and they're very supportive to us. So for example, I think it's just a matter of proof of concept. The moment you have good proof of concept, people will just come and help you
Mm.
and they want to be part of that change because sometimes
Oo.
it's so hard na pag mag-isip ka pa, ay ayan, andyan na, sasakyan na lang natin, no? But we're also very picky on where we involve ourselves because at the end of the day, I always believe in the clarity of intention. And I'm very
Oo.
yung kutob, I
Oo.
always like believe in intuition
Oo.
and intentionality. Jenny, right, was who introduced me to this.
Oo.
Uh, Grabe yung deep sense of intuition ko, Jo. I when I was 19 kasi I studied in China and as an exchange student there. And every morning I would join my professor to do Tai Chi and just to do meditation in the Black Lake. And he was always teaching me like to always like throw your manifestation with great intentionality. And kami din sa Agrea, parang it's not a bed of roses. Agriculture, the work that we do, I eat stress for breakfast if I allow myself to eat stress for breakfast. But a choice not to eat stress for breakfast. So the moment I wake up, I don't open my phone immediately. 1 hour is just my me time. And what kind of intention I want to do there because you attract the right people. Second one is we communicated so well. Like for example, I am the Philippine ambassador of food security, right? So if
Okay.
there are things that the farmers will say to the government, I can be na Cherrie Atilano of AGREA. I can be na Cherrie Atilano of the UN as an ambassador
Yeah.
because in that aspect, I need to practice so much diplomacy by training. And I have reportorial obligation to New York and Geneva. So I cannot also do that job. But I can be a Cherrie Atilano as a Philippine ambassador for food security. So
Yeah.
because that's a gift given to me by the government, to
Yeah.
speak up on the smallholder farmers behalf, on the women and the youth in agriculture. And lastly, how do we communicate this to our farmers, right?
Yeah.
We have a farm school, and the farm school, I basically develop our curriculum since we started. And it's such a farm school that is not intimidating for farmers to learn. And for me, it's such a dream come true. And it keeps evolving. It keeps evolving. We have two farm schools now in Marinduque Island and in Siargao Island. Because the farm school, it's like your place to evangelize farmers. It's a place to educate farmers. It's a place to really teach farmers what is our vision, what is our mission, and they need to have a buy-in on what we have, and they really need to sign a letter of intent with 7 points of covenants that they are joining Agria in
Mm.
there. So everything is in the foundation of if you want to belong, it's an approach of Mother Teresa. We need to help. We will help you, and we will love you. We will welcome you. But at the end of the day, we also demand excellence from you. So Lee Kuan Yew is coming in,
Yes.
right?
Oo.
So it's an approach of marrying Mother Teresa at the same time having Lee Kuan Yew. Because for me, if you give and give and give, sometimes mauubos ka. You give your hand, they wanted your neck. And what's next? It's not sustainable. So for me, if it's tao, the moment you empower them, the moment you build an enabling environment for them, the moment you demand excellence from them, the moment they take pride that they have the capacity to dream, they have the capacity to do something, and they have the capacity to meet their targets. So that's how we work.
So I've
Galing.
never had like one conversation where we had the Pope, Mother
Yeah.
Teresa,
Yeah.
and
Lee Kuan
in one
Yew
conversation.
with great intentionality. Is that something
Galing mo, Cherry.
I was wondering, yun bang approach ni Cherry? Pwede ba sa pag-ibig, no?
Yeah.
I'm
Pwede.
sure.
Pwede.
Oh, at saka I think that's basically love, di ba?
Yes.
You know, helping others
Yes.
and
At the core, it's
yeah.
all love.
Para tayong nag-graduate school, ano?
Oo nga, ang galing-galing. But
Nagma-masterclass.
now I'm curious naman because you're able to communicate your all these things to the farmers who are the stakeholders in this cause, diba? So
Yeah.
what about the youth? How are you
Oo.
able to share your message to the youth? Because we are in a new world, diba? The pandemic showed us
Mm-mm.
that we really have to change mindsets about agriculture and the way we live. And I think your work touches on all those things. And syempre, para kanino ba yung mundo? But the youth.
Yeah.
So how do you plan to spread this message to them?
Lalo pa at not all of them, you know, many of them do not want to become farmers.
Farmers,
Oo.
oo. Parang hindi siya,
Oo.
sexy, but Cherry is
Oo.
about to change that.
Yeah.
It's not.
Just look at Cherry.
Yeah. So please tell us
I,
more.
I still belong to the youth. I'm still a
Yeah.
millennial.
Yes.
But I
Yeah.
guess, I always share this to our youth leaders, right? For the past 7 years that AGREA has been there in the picture, we've been training around more than 80,000 youth, training in a way that they attended our programs, our events, and a lot of mentoring sessions. I always, I always take pride, I guess, and not in a boastful way, but I'm always telling them that feel free to make me as your role model in terms of if you want to go into agribusiness, if you want to do into agriculture, because this thing is not for the faint hearts. I go through this all by myself since I was 12 years old, right? From educating myself. I
Yeah.
remember I was telling this to the youth always, Joe and Dina. I grew up in Silay and I grew up in Negros Occidental. It's the land of hacienderos and sabongeros. When the
Oo.
conferences way back, they're always in Negros Occidental, all the conferences. And every time there's a conference, you cannot attend if you're not a haciendero or if you're not a sabongero because it's expensive. I remember myself, I was around 14 years old. I would go to a parking lot where these conferences are happening and I would look for an old man na nagdadala ng lunchbox. Sabihin ko sa kanya na, Sir, pwede bang ipasok mo ako sa conference kasi wala akong pera. Pero hindi kasi din pwede kasi wala din akong negosyo, no? Wala ako sa registration. I'm not qualified at all to attend all this conference. But I want to learn. I really want to understand what's happening inside because they're talking about agribusiness in the Philippines, the fate of sugarcane, the sugarlandia, the big scale agriculture. And sabihin mo na lang please na apo mo ako yung magdadala ng lunch pump at medicine to remind you to take your medicine. So I really was like hustling it. Yung sinasabing hustling
Oo.
it. And I was always telling the youth na right now, everything is on the point of your finger. If you want to attend conferences, you have access for free. If you want to attend training, everything is like accessible and free. Before, I really need to make makaawa just to insert myself in there. So I was telling them that, the youth, they are the now, the current, and the present, and the future. So there's so much potential. And in the Philippines, our farmers are 60 years old, average age. But the average age of our country in general is 23 years old. So imagine the massive potential of the youth to create change, right? The massive potential of the youth to educate themselves because of all this digital platform that they can learn from. So for me, it's really about having that positivism, I guess, in our youth that a lot of them now, they said that millennials are actually looking for purpose all the time. So hopefully when you look for purpose that is higher than yourself. Look for purpose that is so fulfilling that every morning you will wake up alive because there's so much to be done and there's so much to be contributed. And all the more, I'm always telling them that, ibahin na natin yung narrative of agriculture. I'm always saying that farming is sexy.
Yes.
I'm known to be glamorizing
Mm-mm.
farming. If you see me now, I'm not here na mukha akong kawawa, even if I go on stage, na sabihin na, parang hindi ka naman farmer, so what? That's a statement. Because kailangan nating
Oo.
bihisan yung farmers. For the longest times, our farmers are so kawawa. They're on top of a Carabao. Punit-punit yung damit at talaga namang kasali sila sa pobre ng lipunan. But hindi dapat. So, this is the right time that the youth would level up their game. The youth should be more involved in terms of contribution. And there are so many things available for the youth right now. Like, for example, me being the Philippine ambassador for food security, we develop programs like Maya. It's a mentoring program last week. There are 10 groups who won. We give them 40,000 pesos each to start their agribusiness. And after the money, they will have mentoring program for one whole year. And after the mentoring program, they can apply to the bank for grant with zero interest for the next 5 years. During my time, wala yan, Jo and Dina. I need to prepare a business pitch to get an investment. I need to hustle my game to look for investor. Now, it's all available for them. It's just really up to them if they have the courage
To take
and
it.
the enthusiasm
Yeah.
to seize all of these opportunities.
Tama siya.
So that's a challenge. Cherry is really challenging. the
Oo.
youth.
But iniisip ko, meron tayong stereotyping of women, no? So, si Cherry is a woman and nasasabi natin, paano ba ang management style ng isang babae, ha? How are you as a manager? I mean, ano ba ang approach mo and how do you deal with yan gang mga macho, ha? Oo, yung mga ganon and then yung mga pilosopo,
Kasi there's your sex,
oo,
babae, and
yan ang
your
mga
youth.
issues, oo.
Oo. So, mga
Oo.
yan eh.
Anong management style mo to overcome yung ganyang mga prejudices?
I laugh a lot. That's my management style. Simple lang.
Pareho kami.
Of course, there's always like prejudices, right, on women. But I think if you are hard enough also that you are demanding excellence from everyone, it's always naman a game eh. People may not be happy or they might hate you, they might love you. But for me, if I love you, I will, if you love me, I love you more, right? If you care, I
Oo.
care about you more. It's really about, for me, no drama, no silos, no surprises.
Oo.
So in my management style, I don't like dramas. Like for example, in what we do, if there are things that
Ako
we
lang
need
yun.
to pursue, we need to discuss that immediately.
Oo.
Right? I don't
Yeah.
want dramas catching up after dramas kasi it becomes gossip. I don't have time for that. I always set myself that I will only focus my things on higher vision, on bigger things that it's good for all, not even for just a one person. No, not even for myself, right? Because I always believe that AGREA later on can fly on its own without me. Everyone is dispensable.
Oo.
Second one, I don't want to be working in silos. So in the company, like after this call, we always have Grateful Mondays. We call it Grateful Mondays huddle. No, it starts with what are you grateful for last week? What are you grateful for and looking forward for this week? So just for us to foster teamwork and collaboration that no matter how hard your assignment, your boss is here and your team is here for you. Second one is I don't like surprises. I think I have very sharp memory, Jo and Dina. This is such a gift. So every time they would tell me, Cherry, this was not approved and things like that, I would always, for example, it's already like July, right? July soon, right? I would always remember that, in January, this date, I signed a check amounting to this amount to approve this kind of project. So don't tell me that it wasn't approved. Because for me, I don't want surprises. Everything should be planned. I'm such a Virgo. It's a very perfectionist approach.
Okay.
So for me, it's really about giving that leeway that if I'm a boss, I'm a boss. But I'm such a good friend. If you want to be a good friend, after work, I'm your good friend. We can eat together. You can tell me your love life. I can share to you my love life. I can share to you my problems. You can share to me the problems of your family, and a very accommodating person. I will always bend over backwards for my team, to help them, to feel that I'm not only a boss, but a sister to them, a friend to them, and a person they can run to if they need help, especially for family. I am a very family oriented person. The moment that they feel that, they will always be there for you. And I'm so happy I have an amazing, amazing AGREA team whose dedication is just immense, and it's really humbling me as a founder.
Okay. How many are you in your team, Cherry? How big is Agrea in terms of numbers?
Right now we have around 49 in our portfolio, and it's still very small if you say that we're running a very lean team. A lot of those are on the ground, and in the core we're only around 12. I keep my core very small, and then in that core pana 12 there's like a really core team. It's called a quad. It's a quad. It's me, finance, HR, admin, and the foundation, because we have also an Agria Foundation, the nonprofit arm that manages all our social work for all the farmers. Yeah.
So, Cherry, right now you're, diba, one of the greatest accomplished women
Yeah, yeah,
of your generation at
yeah,
below 40, no?
yeah.
So, you started out your work very, very young, at age 12. So, one wonders if
Yeah,
you've had any regrets at all
yeah,
in your journey toward now.
yeah.
But before you tell us about that,
Let's
we'll pause
pause.
for another day.
Fiverr is the free and secure way to connect with friends and family anywhere. Send messages and make phone and video calls for free. Download Viber now.
Iba ng panahon, dami ng bago ngayon. Pati ang mundo natin, well, nagbago na rin. Di ano bayan, bigger, better na. You can buy it sa centers, pati sa mga parties, may online pa at app. You can buy it with your fingers, still don't remittance and more. Online shopping, you can buy it all. Di magpadala, you can buy it all. Anumang pera transaction, you can buy it all. Sabayan ang pagbabago ng mundo for all your pera transactions, all new Bayan.
Click, click, that's it. Never thought self-service can be this slick. Modify plans in a snap, walang hirap, it's a wrap. Just tap the app. Now you can check, view, subscribe, renew. Help and support for you. Out with the ring apps are the in thing, you know what to do. Globe at home and Globe One, all in the Globe app na yan. Self-service and easy to use, mas okay tayo dyan. Globe at home and Globe One, all in the Globe app na yan. Instant response, no hold time pa, wala nang hintayan. Download Globe at Home and Globe One app, all in the Globe app na yan.
Download the Globe One and Globe at Home apps from Google Play Store and Apple App Store now.
Download Globe at Home and Globe One app, all in the Globe app na yan.
Araneta City, home to the country's first indoor shopping mall, the world's original Thrilla, and the first ever Bini Bini pageant. Now a place for your first win, your first catch, your first home, your first big break, your first date, and even your first love. Araneta City, the city of firsts.
Manong Joe po,
At Ate Maita,
ngayong Hunyo, bahagyang tumaas ng 8 centavos per kilowatt hour ang overall electricity rates. Ito'y dahil sa dagdag singil sa WESM.
alam nyo ba, pwede kayong i-update ng Meralco sa text or sa email gaya ni Sarah G. Sisendan kayo ng advanced updates tulad ng upcoming bill details. Di na kayo kakaba-kaba sa paghihintay ng bills. At anumang mangyari sa bill, masira, mabasa, o mawala, no problem. To get updates, i-update ang inyong contact information sa Facebook Messenger, meralco.com.ph, email, hotline 16211 o Meralco Business Centers.
Handa kami makipag-ugnayan sa inyo para makapaghatid ng mas mabuti, mabilis, at pagkinhawang serbisyo.
Hanggang sa susunod na
Meralco Advisory.
How did you go through life na sure ka na?
Oo nga.
Oo, no regrets ka ba? Like, you could have danced more or, you know?
She gave up like a Fulbright scholarship.
Yeah,
like,
oo.
other things.
Yeah. Ako naman, how can I do life more? I think I strongly believe I really live a life in balance and purpose. One pala, non-negotiable to be is 8 hours of sleep. I need to sleep 8 hours every day.
Oh.
That's for me to perform. And just 1 hour not working in the morning, and I go to the gym every day. I dance, I do my salsa, and now I'm trying to learn tango also because Mami Ivan Dading, they're also dancing, right? And I go out with friends. I drink outside. I go poblacion with my friends. I hang out. Because I think if you have the clarity that you do what you love doing, you really manage how it will work a lot, right? I call my mom in Bacolod, almost every day. I video call with her and my sister. And I think I identify what's important in life and just focus on that, right? And entertain another layer of importance. It's because before, of course, when I was a bit younger, you want to be just ito lang yung gagawin mo, or you want to be spreading yourself so thinly, right? Ako kasi parang I know that agriculture should be my core. And if I want to advocate environment, I'll just do regenerative agriculture. If I want to do education, I'll just put up a farm school. And now we are about to launch an impact fund in Singapore. It's an impact fund that we are investing to socially responsible agribusinesses in Southeast Asia, where I am a partner. So, yan, investment, yan, na portfolio. So these are like all connected to my core, but different kind of sectors. Environmental sector, education sector, and the financial sector. So how do I survive? I always have this make your circles small, but these are the people that can grab cold drinks for you the moment you need them the most. And my family is one. I'm so lucky. I have a very, very good family, very supportive and very loving. I have no problem of sort of that. I have a boyfriend who's very supportive, been understanding for years, just being there for me, no matter what. And I always wanted to live a life of purpose. And for me, a life of purpose is every day, parang 30,000 farmers na tayo. How can we make their lives better, right? And how can we do more to influence the agriculture food systems, not only in the Philippines, but globally? And I always have this principle of layering your friends. So I have friends who are triple my age so that I can gain a different kinds of wisdom. I have friends double my age. So my parents, for example, I talk to them every day, very open conversation. And I have my friends my age. Because of course, this is the friends you go out, drinks, and just like go to the beach, do scuba diving or climb the mountain, right? And I have friends like younger than me. These are friends that I mentor because I really feel that paying it forward is such a happy hormone to have.
Yes.
And yeah, so simply lang. Basta, I know that, what happiness is always something that uh, you can control personally, I guess, and let go of whatever that's out of control, right? Let going is such hard because I'm such a control freak. But for 4 years, I've been learning that.
Okay. Galing, no? Very, very clear the way she thinks
Yeah, yeah.
and plans everything.
You know,
Very refreshing.
she's a young global leader, no? So she's not just a local leader. I mean, not just our islands, but I see her as someone who can be very influential sa international circles. Ano ang how do you see your role sa international community, Cherrie?
Yeah. Thank you, Joe, for that question. Right now, I'm a United Nations Food Systems Champion. So basically, I belong to the this batch of people designing the future of food systems in the world.
Wow.
This is aside from my work in the Scaling Up Nutrition movement as high-level ambassador and a lead group, where we really influence 63 countries all over the world to develop national food policies that is focused on human capital intervention in terms of nutrition and human capital intervention of making your population healthy, right? And in the World Economic Forum, I do two communities there. I'm part of the Young Global Leader. Now I'm in the advisory board of the Young Global Leaders of the World Economic Forum. So we design programs of these global leaders all over the world, how they can further their education. So we have programs with Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge, and National University of Singapore. So I'm actually part of the governance advisory. We are the ones designing all this, and I'm also part of the World Economic Forum Transformation Network for Food. So we design how agriculture and food industry would shape up our future, especially aligning to the SDGs. So since I was 23 years old, somehow I was given this platform to really be part of the global arena. And for me, it's such a voice and a pride to represent the Filipino people, the Philippines, and also such an opportunity to be the voice for our smallholder farmers, women, and youth in all this global endeavor that I belong to.
Galing, no?
Yeah, and aside from that pala, Jo, I also sit in a lot of global boards. So I sit in boards in two organizations in Switzerland, so and in London. So it's such an amazing opportunity to for a Filipina to be given a seat in a global board of all these big organizations. For example, GAIN. It's humbling that I was invited in GAIN to be part of the board because when I was in university, I just go to their website to research. And then now I'm basically in their global board. And soon this year we are launching the first nutrition impact fund in the world. And this one is focused on Africa. And I will be sitting in the advisory board of this impact fund also. So imagine it's like I work in the Philippines, working with smallholder farmers. Like last Wednesday, I was in Payatas teaching women to do urban gardening. Last Saturday, I was in Mahayhay, Laguna, listening to farmers, scoping them na pinapasan lang nila yung produce nila or they use pa a horse to carry their produce from Banahaw Mountain down to the roads, right, in trading. And then tonight, I'll be online, reporting to my UN work in Geneva. So the opportunity of connecting all this reality in the grassroots and listening and designing it to the global level that will influence national policies and global policies in the future. For me, it's a blessing to be in this, no, na you are in the middle actually.
Oh, you're in
Yeah.
the thick of that action,
Yeah.
and it's all very important, diba? Parang, doesn't that make you feel a little um, stressed? How do you unwind? I mean, because you're involved in so many things. You're so busy. You're doing the farming work, and then diba, educating, and then you're also you're not sitting on all those boards. But do you have a spare time for yourself, like
Yeah.
aside from the 1 hour every day when you wake up?
Of course. Yeah, of course. People would always say, namamahinga ka ba? Or anong ginagawa mo sa buhay? Of course, no? Like this year alone, I was in Boracay for 1 week with my team. No work, just be there.
Mm.
March, I was again in Boracay 1 whole week with my family. No work, just chill and dive and chill. Last May, I was in Bohol for 1 whole week. Just take a vacation. So it's really about setting boundaries, right? If I work, I work. I really put my entire focus and time. I don't procrastinate because it's a waste of time. But I know that I will work because I will focus on that because my sleep is very
Game.
important for
Tapos
me
ito
and I
na.
need to exercise every day.
Mm-hmm.
And then I travel a lot. So before the pandemic, before I used to go out every 2 weeks. I'm out of the country because of my ambassadorial work.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's also beautiful because you do your ambassadorial work and you can extend if you want to travel and just chill. So it's really not really having that delineation of pag work lang to.
Mm-mm.
I always find that I think we are now in life integration. As an entrepreneur, you are now in life integration. But Sunday for me is so sacred. I don't work on Sunday. It's really family time. I binge on Netflix. So
Mm.
yesterday I was just watching Netflix until 11 p.m. Or swim with Mommy Ivy the whole afternoon. We do our 60 laps in the swimming pool.
Wow.
So it's and dance tango. So it's really about really putting a limit that Monday to Friday I will work and chill in the process, like at night. The most beautiful thing that I've been doing since last year is walking for 2 hours every
Mm.
night. I walk with my team every night. So my executive assistant Christine and our business operations Sonia, we walk for 2 hours. That is also our walking meeting. So in that, it becomes more open for discussion. It's not like you really sit on the table and discuss stuff. There, you can be so informal, where you learn your people well, and it's easy for them to discuss stuff with you openly because you're not officially in the office. But more importantly, it's for our sanity, right? Exercise, it's such a thing I cannot live without every day. So, yeah, namamahinga ako, honestly.
That's so magandang malaman
Oo.
yun. Kasi, di ba?
Mag-rest din tayo by way of
Speaking of the,
relaxing.
relaxing,
We're having a game.
okay.
Yeah.
So this game is called Would You Rather, which is a game that poses a dilemma in the form of a question beginning with Would you rather? So,
I cannot hear you, Deans, clearly.
Okay, I'm sorry. So the game is called Would You Rather. Can you hear me?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
So why don't you give direction, Joe? So
Okay.
it can be clearer.
Would you rather, which is a game that poses a dilemma in the form of a question. Would you rather be rich or beautiful? Would you rather be hungry or whatever,
So we'll
Ganon,
give
ano?
the question one at a time, no?
Okay.
Right? Okay, so we begin. So, would you rather eradicate poverty for farming and fishing families or establish food security in the Philippines? Wow, you have to choose.
May kaibahan ba yun?
May kaibahan ba to? Would you rather eradicate poverty for farming and fishing families or establish food security in the Philippines? For me, establish food security in the Philippines because the eradicate poverty can be a byproduct. It can be a direct product. Or if there's food security, so there's no poverty to eradicate in the Philippines.
Okay, good answer. Next.
Okay.
Ikaw naman, Jo.
Okay, would you rather have zero hunger or zero waste? Pinagpipili.
I would rather, ang difficult ito
Oo
I would
nga.
rather have zero hunger. You know, zero hunger. Yeah, because
Really?
yeah, for me, if there's zero hunger, for sure there's zero waste, right? Kasi people will eat and will not waste. Yeah.
Oo nga. Oo nga naman. Oo,
Okay,
okay.
next. Would you rather live in a big house on a farm or in a little house near a beach?
Aba, magandang dilema yan.
Oo nga eh. I
Live
wish
a
I
big
had that
house on a farm. I would rather be in a farm.
Okay. Siyempre.
Oo. Okay, next. Would you be an advocate for women in agriculture or an advocate for youth in agriculture?
Women in agriculture. Yeah, women in agriculture because when you influence women, the youth will just go through. Kasi minsan yan, lahat yan mga anak ng mga women.
Oo
It's
nga.
a two-prong approach.
Oo,
Yes.
tama.
Okay, so lastly, would
Maganda.
you rather that your house was surrounded by water or a forest?
A forest.
Oh, syempre.
I love
Oo.
foraging. I love foraging more than fishing, so I would choose a forest.
At saka, umuulan rin sa forest, di ba?
Oo.
May water ka rin, no? Tuloy-tuloy nga ang tubig doon, eh.
Yes. Pero Cherrie, so in your spare time, you do scuba diving. You're into ano naman, mga marine
A lot of...
activities. Okay.
Yeah, I love scuba diving, and now I'm trying to learn free diving soon.
Wow.
I know one thing.
Mermaid. You'll be a mermaid.
I know one thing that you're not doing now.
What?
Hindi ka na nagko-crochet.
Tapos na yon.
Wala na, hindi na ako nagko-crochet.
Oo.
Okay. So, wow. Cherrie, we've really enjoyed
Yeah.
talking with you this afternoon.
Yeah.
I wish we could keep going, but unfortunately, we have to say goodbye soon.
Let's ask her
But
first.
before we do, yes.
Yeah,
please.
what are your plans for 2021 onward? Under the
my-
new normal, huh?
Yeah, under the new normal. My plans for 2021 is actually to set up a warehouse here in Makati for our Manila operations so that we can continue helping those 30,000 farmers. For personal, I really want to travel, hopefully outside the Philippines because this pandemic I have been traveling naman within the
Yeah.
Philippines. So I flew to different islands still. But for me, I truly miss traveling outside the Philippines, and hopefully this December I can be with my boyfriend in the snow in the Alps.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he is into skiing, so I just really want to be with him doing ski. So that's my plan. I have, of course, my company will grow, and my
Yeah.
family will always be healthy.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
Alright, so Jojo, paano yan?
Oo. Padala mo ang grades namin, ha? Sa graduate school. Seminar, ano ba to?
Once
Ako,
again,
baka
thank
ako
you.
i-evaluate niya as your teacher.
Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Cherrie, for joining us this afternoon in this special edition of Spotlight.
And we'd like to thank Miss Jeannie Havelosa because it was
Yes.
she who suggested. Idol ni Cherry si Jeannie, eh.
Jenny is such a soul I admire so much, and I really admire her because I've been doing a lot of meditation lately, and I always see her post. She's also doing a lot of meditation lately. And actually, Dina, people are always asking, why are you not exhausted? Why, for me, it's not a matter also of how much time you consume in a day, because all of us, we always have 24 hours, each of us. For me, it's not a matter of time. It's a matter of how much energy do you use and how do you manage your energy in a day. So meditation helps a lot. It's such a savior to sanity.
Okay, yun ang kanyang tip, ha?
Tip for
Everyone,
the youth.
listen, yeah.
Are there any other things you would like to say to our viewers, especially the youth, before we end the show?
Yeah, for me, thank you so much, Daily Tribune, and happy anniversary again for this opportunity to be interviewed. Jojo and Dina, such amazing individuals to talk to. And for all our youth out there, be always relevant. If everyone is always telling you to be successful, please go beyond success. Be relevant, be significant, especially right now, that all the more this pandemic, we need a lot of young ones with so much compassion and empathy on how we can bounce back better. So please get out of bed motivated, get out of bed having that sense of purpose that you are useful, you belong, and you can be of great contribution. So maraming salamat po.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much once again, Cherrie Atilano. This has been Spotlight. I am Dina Ventura.
I'm Jojo Silvestre.
And
Thank you.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Daily Tribune.